In India today, there are around 3,000 Tibetan nuns living in exile, many who suffered inhuman torture and oppression at the hands of the Chinese. The Tibetans' internal struggle as human beings is to try and reconcile the non-violent principles of their most cherished beliefs with the rage that can arise when harmed. For monks and nuns alike, it is the most extreme test of their commitment to compassion, their religion and their culture. Compassion is the essence of the Tibetan culture.
So in that is a new system imposed by the Chinese, and in that they have to denounce His Holiness the Dalai Lama. She told it very friendly to the Chinese. We will obey your rules, rules of the country imposed by the Chinese. But being a Buddhist and especially a nun, we cannot denounce His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So this question, the main question or the main theme of the education is you should be patriotic and should denounce the Dalai Lama. All the nuns cried at the same time at that moment when the Chinese started saying bad words to Dalai Lama. Herself and they are having 3 other nuns who are having little bit maybe heart problem or something like that, and then they all became unconscious, and they found themselves in the hospital. When she regained her conscious, still then the Chinese said, okay, even if you are leaving this nunnery, you have to sign over here, and then they are forced to sign or thumb to give the thumbprint. And on that it is written that we are very much against the Dalai Lama, or whatever the Chinese wanted, it is written over there, and those nuns, even if they are going to leave the nunnery, they are forced to sign it. So it is much better to leave the nunnery and then go back to our parents instead of saying bad things to the Dalai Lama.
Between 1987 and 1990, Chinese soldiers forcibly broke up peaceful demonstrations throughout Tibet, killing hundreds and arresting thousands more. Venerable Bugdro is one of the most famous ex-political prisoners from this time. After his arrest, he was kicked and beaten. For a whole day, he was hung upside down at the prison gates. For a week, he was forced to stand naked in freezing weather while iced water was poured all over him. He had to endure self-tightening handcuffs that forced the veins in his fingertips to burst. For another week, he was given no food or water, forcing him to drink laundry water and his own urine, and his hunger was so bad he ate the cotton from his quilt. His release after 3 years in jail saw him flee to India, where he's written a book on his ordeal and gives public lectures in Dharamsala on the cultural genocide he witnessed.
Children go in big problem because the children smoking in Tibet, smoking, drinking alcohol. That is what I saw in Tibet, capital Lhasa. Many children smoking, like 11 years old, 12 years old. They teach more bad things, the Chinese. The Chinese, the Tibetan religious like person, Poison, yes, Tibetan religious person. Then nothing to communists, they said very important. And then all these Tibetan village people and the children, they give Mao picture. Mao Zedong picture, the small picture. I'm also one picture here, Mao picture, because we do not understand this meaning. This time Chinese said it was Mao is very important, like Lama. Dalai Lama is like very bad man. This is in Tibet, we own country, and then we are begging. Chinese come and the Tibetan sponsor. Tibetan people like Chinese and the like animals like dengue, same. And then I'm very young. I bake in many times a Chinese restaurant. My younger sister, she dead. I think she's 3 years old. She's not food.
Every year, there is a 700-kilometre peace march from Dharamsala to New Delhi. The 19-day trek is organised by the Tibetan Peace March movement to draw international attention to China's human rights abuse in Tibet. The serenity of the marchers is disarming, having little or no sentiment of anger among them, and a general feeling of goodwill pervades. In Dharamsala itself, the Tibetan Youth Congress also holds peace marches for all people who are there at the time, ending in the grounds of the Dalai Lama's monastery.
When I started working here maybe 20 years ago, we just had a small house. Now it's 2,300 children with over 69 classrooms, over 300 staff who work here permanently, all well qualified, trained people, and some of them trained in the best, I think, American and European universities. We know what we want, and we have a clear vision of what we want the future Tibetans to be. If, let's say, a dozen children arrive today, and if you talk to those 12 children and say, okay, have you studied in Tibet? Invariably, 3 or 4 have never been to a school. Of that, the other 3 or 4 will say, yes, I went to school, but I dropped the school after a year. Right? Another 3 will say, okay, yes, I studied up to primary level, and then I couldn't continue because of discrimination. Generally speaking, for grade 1 to 5, the content of curriculum is basically all in Tibetan. We study 3 languages, Tibetan, English, Hindi, and we begin 2 language studies right from kindergarten, and maybe from grade 3 onwards we start the 3rd language. Along with the 3 languages, we have mathematics, then we have social science, we have general science. These are the formal, let's say, curriculum. We have a lot of children who've been abandoned, a lot of children who have no parents, a lot of children who are economically so poor that their family is not able to look after them. We take care of all that. So TCB is not a school, it is more a home for all these children. We take a child in a care. Apart from looking after his physical needs, his educational needs, we are also like a parent to him. So our basic aim is to, we have these many different children's homes here in this campus, like 45 homes, and for the senior students, these hostels. So basically it is a home with many houses. So the word village is like a big, it's not, we don't call it a school so much, we call it Tibetan Children's Village, because we have many homes here. And what the children really need is a home. Now with that home, they need a mother. And so in each home we have a mother. The child can call another adult mother. You have the mother figure, the security of home, and then the school, which looks after the educational needs.
The children are taught valuable lessons in their new homes from their amalars, a Tibetan word for mother. The altruistic nature of these amalars ensures the children are guided and educated on the Tibetan culture, as well as taught everyday ethical and moral issues, and that individual contribution greatly benefits the whole. They are raised with love, kindness and compassion, and taught to have pride in their ancient Buddhist roots.